Dale Matthews from badcounty.com over in Josephine County, and it's the non-commercial video website. We're keeping up on government things. How you doing this morning, Dale? Welcome back.
I'm okay, and thanks for having me on.
All right, so we have a situation with Josephine County, of course, sucking wind financially. The public safety levy ended up going down to a resounding defeat a few days ago, as you well know. We've talked about this before. And now, though, it's where do we go? Where do we go next? And there has been talk about possibly raiding a bit of money from Josephine County's road maintenance fund. And this would end up going to help the sheriff's patrols. It's been done before. What's the latest on this? Because there's been an interesting development with Sheriff Daniels.
These road funds, this is not the daily or weekly or monthly maintenance funds. This is the surplus. This is the amount they've been setting aside. Remember how they've been saying, the citizens say that we have surplus on the side. No, we don't. Well, yes, they do.
So this is a surplus designated for, let's say you have a big fire or an earthquake or something and you have a bunch of damage, and then they can use this for road repair, right?
For emergency situations. Okay. Well, do you remember some of the dialogue during this levy? It's an emergency. We need to do something. Well, okay, we have emergency funds, and 1/16 of the overflow, not the daily funds. Mm-hmm. So it won't affect maintenance and striping of the roads. 1/16 of that would give us 5 new road deputies, and only road deputies.
Well, that sounds like a pretty good use of the money here, because there's not a lot of road deputies in Josephine County these days.
That's right, and that was one of the dings on the whole idea of the levy is, will we really get any road deputies out of this? And so that's what this has to go for. Couple of things is, one is, if you really do want sheriff's patrols and you want safety, then you're going to say, well, of course. And the other thing is, if it isn't really just about the 10% skimmed off the top, because they won't get that, then you would say, well, of course.
Yeah, this has been the other controversial aspect of this. If you have a levy, the public safety levy would be passed, there would be 10% of that skimmed off the top for administrative costs. So for the cost of the administrating of the money, I guess.
Well, that's part of what they say, but they use it for things like travel and joining different organizations and clubs.
It's Joe County's slush fund. That's what they do with the 10%. Right?
Because we're there. You're there with me, and we listen to what they say about how they're going to spend that money.
Sure.
And they just can't wait to get back on the road and travel all over the country and join a bunch of organizations, and this makes it much more difficult for them to do so.
But if it's about public safety, then you wouldn't care if you're not getting the 10% skim off.
If that's what it really was about, you would say, well, of course, we're going to do this.
So what does the sheriff of Josephine County have to say about possibly raiding 1/16 of this surplus emergency road fund?
It's renewable, by the way, so it's not really rated, but it's renewable every year.
Okay, so they put money in it every year. Okay, fair enough.
That's right. Well, one of the things he says is, I don't want just a temporary solution. So what you do is you take the 1/16, you divide it in half, you make it last for 2 years, and so instead of 5 deputies, you get 2.5.
Still better than nothing.
Yeah, I would like that.
Sure.
Okay, so this thing about longevity is not the argument. Well, so we go and see him, and Bad County does, and we try to encourage him to get up at the weekly business session and say some things where he would be in favor of seeing this happen.
Sure.
Well, he's a little reluctant to get up at a public meeting and say such a thing.
All right, now, why would the sheriff of Josephine County, which has difficulty putting patrol deputies on the road, why would he look askance at standing up and saying, well, maybe we should go after this road funding like we did a couple of years ago?
And he said he spoke individually with the commissioners. It's just the whole idea of getting up in public and saying, I really would like this money. We asked him, are you going to get up? I mean, we're encouraging you. Please, we're telling people on both sides of this argument, let's join forces, let's shake hands, let's be pals, let's support the sheriff. Will you do it? Well, maybe I will, maybe I won't. Maybe I will, maybe I won't.
Why?
I don't know.
Why is there such a controversy connected with this? It sounds as if he's more concerned that asking for the road funding is making a political statement as much as it is making a law enforcement statement.
At some point you just have to get over that and admit, as he did when he was running for office, I voted for the guy, admit that this is a political position. You're elected. Of course it's political. And then say, hey, I'm no longer a patrolman. I'm now the county sheriff. I'm going to have to get up every once in a while and make a statement. I'm going to make a statement about the miners and how the BLM shouldn't roll over them. I'm going to make a statement about how we need funding around here. And I don't mean a canned press conference where, well, everything the anti-levy guy's saying is all a myth. No, it wasn't a myth. Okay.
So I would imagine that you and Sheriff Daniels did not agree on support for the levy. He was probably completely in the pro-levy camp, right?
Oh, yeah, he was completely in that. That's right. Yeah.
Well, we know that's not going to happen.
No.
The law enforcement problem and crisis is still in existence in Josephine County, so it would seem that this is the next best plan B that Josephine County could take right now. So I'm trying to figure out why they are so reticent about going here. I don't get it.
Nobody gets it. Nobody understands why he would do that. We didn't understand why he was maintaining a low profile. Oh, no, I wasn't. I wasn't maintaining a low profile during the thing with the miners. Yes, you were.
Okay, let me float a theory.
Okay, all right, I'm ready for this.
Could the possibility, could the reason why nobody wants anything done, even to put a couple of patrol deputies on the streets of Josephine County, could it be that nobody wants to see any kind of progress because it ultimately will just make it that much harder to pass the next levy?
I personally don't want to include the sheriff in that. However, what we know now is there's 6 different plans to raise our taxes here. This is the people supporting the levy have not said, well, we've learned our lesson.
Yeah, the people have spoken and we're going to go away, right?
No. They're not just doubling or tripling or quadrupling. They're increasing the efforts times 6. There's all kinds of plans. There's a $2 minimum through the state, which Cheryl Walker looks like she's been at least explaining to people. There's a sales tax in Grants Pass City. There's a property tax that some people in Grants Pass City government have been suggesting.
So they want to do anything from the sounds of it here, Dale. They want to do anything except live within the existing monetary stream of Josephine County.
If it's not a tax, they're not interested. If they put half, a quarter, 1/16 of the effort into doing creative, other words, it's not a tax, it's some kind of, no, it's a consumption account. No, it's a tax. If they put any of that effort into actually looking for other solutions, then we'd be in Fat City.
Yeah. And what would be wrong with taking some money and getting a couple of sheriff's deputies on there for right now?
It's renewable.
That's right.
Now,
that makes it green, doesn't it? That makes it green. That's green in the government.
I used with him was I said, if you're at a park and you run out of gas and you're going to go over to the gas station with your little bucket to get some gas, it's only a gallon, but yeah, I'll take that just to get to the gas station.
Yeah, sure you would. Now, the one thing I would say though, I would highly recommend that if we were advising Dave Daniel, like you just talked about though, is it's difficult. What you don't want to get in the habit of is hiring somebody for the sheriff's department and then firing them after a few months because the funding stream. You want to make sure you have some a pretty secure funding stream for a while so you can get a good deputy or two in there to really help out. So I could see take that 1/16 of that road fund and split it up over a couple of years for right now, and that gives some time for people to figure it out. Okay?
And that's if you have to train them right from the beginning, right? But there are a number of people who said, hey, I'd be willing to come back. Now, the best way to get them back is to say, well, we're going to hire you for at least 2 years. So you just divide it in half. No, you don't get your 105 deputies, and no, you don't even get your 5. Maybe you just get 2. Okay, he said to us out on the sidewalk in front of the Ann Basker Auditorium, I'd like 2. Okay, let's do it.
Well, let's do it then.
So
end of the story then. So I would imagine that if people in Josephine County would call up Dave Daniel and perhaps just say, hey, Dave, it's okay. Well, we're behind you, really.
It's Simon here that you need to call and be gentle with the guy, okay?
Why?
I've been really tough on the guy.
I know.
All right, so what you need to do is you need to be gentle on the guy, and it won't do any good to call Cheryl Walker, but you could call Keith Heck, too. And you could say to these two gentlemen, fellas, look, we want this. We were on the pro-levy side. We were on the anti-levy side. We were on the we don't know side, whatever you were. And just encourage them to do the right thing. That's all that I'm doing. That's all that Bad County is doing. That's all that sounds like you're doing. Just do the right thing, you guys, and then we'll get what you said this was all about. Remember what you said it was all about?
That it was about public safety.
That's what they said.
And if it's all about public safety, then you'll use these funds for public safety and then and come back with other plans if you want to raise some taxes. I get that they're probably going to try to run after you again. Yeah. But what it really concerns me is this appearance, and maybe it is just an appearance, but this appearance is that we will not do any kind of improvement in Josephine County because it would tend to throw cold water on our efforts to raise taxes, which seems to be the real driving force in Josephine County government right now.
It's what happened with the dog and cat kennels. You know, the county is required to do this. As soon as that money came through, it was a tiny tax. As soon as that came through, people stopped talking about them, stopped thinking about them. Hey, wait a minute, you should be paying attention to us. Well, they're not doing that anymore. You got your funding. So it takes all the pressure off if the sheriff has some of the funding he needs. Oh, good. When we can go on to the next subject, which is, you know, how Burger King is serving us or whatever, okay? So they don't want to take the pressure off.
I appreciate you updating us on this, Dale, and tell us what happens at the work session, okay? I really would like to find out.
You can come and see that. We'll be talking about that on badcounty.com every night.
Thanks a bunch there, Dale.
Goodbye, sir.